he had Paul rocked on the ropes. There was about, 25, 30 seconds left. And he couldn't bring himself to step into danger and pull the trigger.
Commenting on these couple of notes, so is social media now a thing that young fighters have to focus on to build up their brand? Can they not focus on fights sort of the way you did maybe in 2003, 2004?
Unfortunately, yes, it is a thing they have to focus on. I tell my guys, and I hate to say this, but I tell my guys, listen, you're half professional athlete, WWE star. I mean, you have, in my case, I created some gimmicks without even realizing that I was, with the bright red hair, pointing at the camera, some catchphrases and whatnot that people kind of hooked onto. But you need those things. I mean, the bottom line is it's all about money. If it doesn't make dollars, it don't make sense, and when a promoter's going to put a fighter on their card, especially if they're not the UFC, if scouts and social media know a couple hundred people are going to show up and buy tickets, I mean, yeah, that makes a difference.
Do you think the Jake Paul and Logan Paul stuff recently has really highlighted that to athletes? Do you think they're becoming more aware of that? How much it's the impetus is on them to build that desire from the crowd to watch them?
I mean, there you go. Here's two guys that went the other way. We get these fighters and we have to start to kind of train them and teach them in the ways of social media. Now you got these social media guys that are trying to learn how to be fighters. They do. One complements the other. That's a whole topic for discussion. Jake Paul, his brother. How I think it is for combat sports, in general. But
what do you think of that? Yeah, what do you? Because I actually didn't even ask Mike what you thought of the fight last weekend. I didn't catch up with you either.
Yeah, I thought it was exactly what I thought. We know Woodley, and I'll let Leben jump in here in a second, but we know Woodley, and we've seen athletes. And Chris, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. That we see athletes who are just monsters. They seek violence for a certain point in their career, and then something happens one night. Shit, it happened to me even in the few fights that I had, and a lot of other athletes I've spoken with off, behind the scenes. It's just one night, it's just not there anymore. Now, if we took Tyron Woodley and we put him into the Olympic Training Center, the UFCPI, and we tested his strength, his agility, his reaction time, I guarantee you he will be better than he was 5 years or 10 years ago. So it's not a drop off in athletic performance. There's a Q factor that we don't quite understand, but athletes know what I'm talking about when I speak about it. It's just one night they're a different athlete, and then they never seem to be the same. Now, Chris, you recently fought again, and you're the same crazy motherfucker in many ways for better or worse, right? You still have that, to what Leo said, that move forward, take two shots to give one big one back. You still have that. But how many guys do you know, Chris, that have gone through this? They're just not the same. And you want to give them a hug and say, brother, like it's done. Don't do this anymore.
I would say most. And, listen, you can't unlearn what you've learned. Ignorance in a lot of times is when you're a young fighter and you don't know nothing but go 100%, look for the kill. Then you go out there, you fight a couple of the best guys in the world, and you get slept.
Yeah,
can't unlearn that shot could be there. And I think we saw a little bit of that, in Woodley. He just, for example, when was it second or third round, he had Paul rocked on the ropes. There was about 25, 30 seconds left, and he couldn't bring himself to step into danger and pull the trigger.
Yep.
Now, albeit Paul very likely is one of those fighters that's still dangerous when hurt.
Yep.
But fighting is a gamble. When you get in there, you're continually weighing risk versus reward. And at that time, he needed to take that gamble, and he couldn't bring himself to do it. And that's not a criticism of his skill, but like you said, it's that not being able to unlearn or what he's gone through.
Yeah.
If to both of you guys, because I know so little about professional fighting, when I watched the fight, I was naively, I was thinking that Tyron was, because he was doing this thing where he had a low stance initially with his hands up. And it sort of looked like a wrestling stance almost to me, something like that, with a low center of gravity. And then what he seemed to do was he was very careful, and he would throw a punch once in a while and land it and then back off immediately after. I thought he was being very careful. Then other people were speculating online, probably incorrectly, that he was somehow motivated to lose the first fight to get the second fight. And that's why he didn't go in for the kill. But you guys saw something else.
Yeah, I would have to agree with what you saw. You know, I think he was too tentative. And, and first off, let's get this out. Woodley is, he's got knockout power. A lot of wrestlers do, but he's not a world-class striker. Yep. It is what it is. Great fighter, UFC guy. My hat is truly off to Paul. He took the fact that what that kid's done in I think probably he's been training longer than he's letting on. But from what I see. But the amount of fights that he's had, that's the real learning curve. That's the real measuring stick. It's you have to step in there. Like I tell guys, listen, I hate the actual fight itself. People tell you they love to fight. That's bullshit. Listen, I love training. I love the camaraderie of the gym. I love the friendships. I love the bond. I love being a martial artist and developing my skills. The actual fight, and I'm sure Mike would agree with me, it hurts, man. It's stressful. It's a lame day. You're sitting backstage, your stomach's in knots, it's hurry up and wait all day. I can't say that I love that. But the fact that Jay Paul has gone through that pressure cooker only 3 or 4 times and was able to perform after getting hit the way he did, my hat's off to him.